Welcome, 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 my peoples. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. We got a lot to talk about before tomorrow and the rest of the month. Lots of bad things, lots of good things, lots of things that are in between or nowhere, and just different discussions entirely. And I'm just here to share it all with you. All 0 viewers watching right now. I fucking love that shit. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Alrighty, guys. So, for the most part, starting live streams from now on, just in case we ever have a new viewer, I will get one signature at a time. We will start with a fun little bedtime story. Maybe I'll end with this bedtime story as well, just because we like it so much. How Martin Shkreli caused a 10,000% squeeze on KBIO. In November 2015, pharma bro Martin Shkreli orchestrated a violent short squeeze on failed biotech Bios that caused its share price to rise by a staggering 10,000% in just 5 trading days. KBIO had been perceived by short sellers as a no-brainer near short-term zero. KBIO's only real drug had just failed and the company had insufficient cash to pay over $6 million in debt. Yet the fact that KBIO was entirely defunct and insolvent did nothing to slow the meteoric rise of its share price, and that is the entire point. No matter how abysmal a company's financial condition may be, when the number of shares shorted exceeds the tradable float, even the most utterly worthless stocks can spike much higher. When such squeezes take hold, fundamentals can cease to matter for a time. The share price simply becomes a short-term math problem. Why was this stock not halted in 2015 if stocks get halted when they go up too fast in too short amount of time? Why was this stock not halted and beat to the ground? You want to know why? Because the Fed didn't bet against it. The Citadel didn't bet against it. It was just normal retail, just normal fucking people trading, seeing obvious fucking bet, and then what's his name? Martin Shkreli comes and just fucks their whole world up. Oh, I love that so much. The KBIO Infinity Squeeze is the most memorable for retail trader Joe Campbell, who launched a GoFundMe campaign to help pay for his personal trading losses, which he suffered as a result of having a fairly small short position in KBIO. Not only did the $37,000 in his E-Trade account go to zero, but Campbell was left owing E-Trade an additional $106,000. Don't short the stock, idiots. Are you an idiot or something? Martin Shkreli, often referred to as the most hated man in America, is generally more famous for his move in 2015 to raise the price of H drugs 5,000%. In March 2018, Shkreli was arrested, nothing to do with the KBIO. But as for the massive squeeze he orchestrated on KBIO, the infamous Shkreli has never faced significant formal consequences. In fact, when looking at numerous instances of orchestrated infinity squeezes over the past 10 years, it is notable that so far no one has faced consequences for doing so. Lesson number 1, fundamentals do not matter, period. In early November of 2015, KBIO was an utterly defunct, failed biotech clearly headed for insolvency. KBIO had just a single feasible drug in clinical trials at the time and had no revenues. When that drug failed, KBIO was left with insufficient cash to pay nearly $7 million in debt. KBIO quickly slashed headcount by 61% and then publicly announced that earlier hopes of pursuing strategic alternatives would not be viable due to having such limited cash resources. Then, on November 17th, 2015, the NASDAQ notified KBIO that the stock would be delisted because it failed to file a 10Q for September quarter. So to be clear, KBIO's problem was catastrophic and unfixable. I mean, unfixable? The stock was rightfully regarded by short sellers as a no-brainer near-term short to zero with no realistic possible recovery. Okay, guys, if money can fix something, like in most of the time, the problem in this world, money could not fix it. And that's why our world sucks so bad, is because everyone just tries to throw money at problems and it never solves the problem. The people are the problem. And so, when this thing says that it was unfixable, and yet KBIO is suddenly resurrected. Shares of KBIO had bottomed at 44 cents on November 16, 2015, but then quickly spiked back over to $2. After the close of the markets on November 18th, just one day, KBIO received its delisting notice. One day after, KBIO announced that an investor group led by Martin Shkreli had just acquired more than 50% of KBIO's shares. So this is why the share price had spiked from 44 cents. The dude that was going bankrupt went and borrowed a little bit of money and bought his own company back from himself to spike the fucking stock. Get the fuck out of here. When the market opened the next day, KBIO skyrocketed from $2 to over $14 on staggering volume as terrified shorts scrambled for exits. After the close on November 19th, KBIO released a second announcement stating that the group had now acquired a full 70% of outstanding shares and that Shkreli has been appointed as KBIO's new CEO and chairman. Shkreli's group had stated that it would inject an initial $3 million in cash with an additional $10 million following shareholder approval. By November 23rd, KBIO had briefly hit $45 per share from 44 cents per share, not more than 5 days before. But even then, Shkreli was not finished with this plan. Phase 2, forced borrow recall. Going from $45, they dropped to $20. Everybody piled on the shorts, and so he decided to tweet, Thanksgiving Day, I spoke with my counsel and advisors and decided to stop lending my KBIO shares out until I better understood the advantages of doing so. I apologize for any inconvenience this may create in the lending markets, and I will probably resume lending at some point. Happy Thanksgiving. We literally have the power to do this. Sign my fucking petition. If we get 1 million people, they can't ignore it. If we get 1 million signatures, they cannot ignore it. And we can vote on a squeeze. If we get 51% to vote on recalling the stock, we will naturally create our own squeeze, and we no longer got to wait for this bullshit. After he recalled the shares, it jumped from $20 to $45 again, held for 6 motherfucking weeks. Recalling the stock held the spike for 6 weeks. On December 17, 2015, just 1 month after the 44-cent bottom on KBIO, Shkreli was arrested on federal fraud charges, nothing to do with KBIO. What a beautiful story. Go to the description of this video right now. Sign the 2 petitions, one for GME, one for AMC. Most people are invested in both. If you're invested, now's the time. Now is the time. It is time to shine. Let's go, people. Alright, my people, we have not gone into the Matrix, and we have not gone into the controlled opposition yet. I wanted to start out with the pleasant story before we got into the bad news. The bad news is I just left Warden's Discord because he was pushing Tesla calls for $7.50 for July, when every time GME has gone up, Tesla has gone down, almost day for day. Like, their charts are literally exact opposites, and somehow this guy says he's 100% GME, but pushing fucking Tesla calls? Woo-wee! I don't like it, people. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I tried to send him the news article I just read, and I asked him what he thought about it. 24 hours, no response, and then he hits me with the "at everyone buy Tesla" calls, and I said, peace, dude. I can't be in a chat like this. You and I's done. You and I's done. I'm all alone. Nobody knows my sorrows. You trapped in the matrix. You blind. You playing. Alright, people. Let's read these petitions. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I wrote something that sounds really, really stupid and I thought it sounded smart. So let's read it. Let's try to be my own worst critic and see if I missed something. Alright, so I said, after reading the last forward-looking statement posted by AMC, it was clear that all agenda items for the shareholder meeting have been finalized and only the board itself can call an emergency meetings and or voting possibilities. I don't think you need to be a rocket scientist to understand every motherfucking word in that sentence. Here is a link that will show you that recalling the entire float from being shorted will force shorts to cover, and all of this can only happen if the board lets us vote. And we just read this link. That all seems to make sense. I didn't say nothing bad about the board. I didn't say the board wouldn't let us vote. I said the board needs to let us vote, and this is how we're going to let them know we want to vote. It says all other shareholders' opinions and or other voting measures must be held until the next stockholder meeting. I don't know exactly how we get proposals on the next year's meeting, but this petition is to generate support on a couple proposals I can think of. Any more proposals you guys help me think of to add or create new petitions, then also to let board of AMC see and know through our massive support of these petitions that they should act before next year meeting and or expect to lose their job. That might be a little aggressive, but I stand by it. We vote their job titles, their salaries, their bonuses, and any other thing in this company we so choose. Guys, all we have to do is get it on the fucking measures to vote, and it's our choice to vote. Whatever we say goes. If we don't vote, it's an automatic no vote. It's time for the board of AMC to start asking what the public wants rather than telling us what they want. If you are an ape, sign and share the petition. Let's force the squeeze with the good old-fashioned share recount, which can only happen if the board let us vote and we vote over 51% yes. See the God Pill YouTube if you want the real facts to life. I mean, was that hard? Was that difficult to understand? Does it take a big brain, a wrinkled brain to understand that? Like, I thought I dumbed it down pretty good. Apparently not. Holy moly. Alright, people. I am convinced if you do not know about my new strategy, which I am hoping to start trading on Monday, I'm trying to raise some money this weekend. We'll see what happens, but I'm hoping to trade on Monday. If you guys do not know about this strategy, it's time to know about this strategy. There's a strategy where it's got a window, $2, or basically, you got to pick whatever you think the average price of AMC is going to be if the hedgies keep playing this game, right? So just think about it. Go look at all the prices. Go do some fucking math if you're good with the computer. Go find the actual middle price. And basically what you're looking for, whether it's $9, $10, $11, it doesn't matter what your number is. What you're looking to do is once it hits your middle number, you want to buy a call and a put, either $1 out on each side or $2 out on each side, depending on how bullish you are. Make sure you got a decent amount of theta, anywhere from 30 days to a year of theta. And then you'll collect anywhere from 10 to 50% every time AMC moves $2 any direction. And then you make another 10 to 50% because you close out the side for a profit. You leave the side that made the losses, but then you buy the call or the put saying it's going back to the middle price. And when it does, you close that out and then for a profit, and then you buy back into the other position that you already closed for a profit. So every time it goes to a price and then back to the price, you're either making 10% twice or 50% twice. So like literally in 1 month, you could hit this 3 or 4 times and make 1,000% on your money if you reinvest all the profits. So, I mean, because that right there, I believe that right there is your guys' only chance in making this squeeze happen. You secure that with some super deep, out-of-the-money $40 calls on AMC, and that way if the squeeze ever happens, you still make more profits than anyone that was invested into just regular traditional stocks. And then you make this money. And if retail starts making money every motherfucking week, without fail, they will let it squeeze because they don't want more people catching on. They will let it squeeze because they found out you guys beat them and you guys beat the motherfucking game and you guys are willing to wait them out because you don't need 100,000%. You just need 100% a week and you're happy. Maybe every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but it don't matter. As long as we get in our 100% or 50%, like, let them play the game for 6 months. If that means we get 10,000% before the squeeze, guess how much money we make on the squeeze then? We make a lot of fucking money. Lee Marie, you got here just perfect timing. You're about to hear how I feel about the squeeze. It is very, very simple. The hedgies are playing games, and I believe every single person you guys listen to, every person you guys accept research from, I don't care if it's from Reddit, if it's from Twitter, if it's from YouTube, anywhere in this world other than this channel right here, this is the only one that's guaranteed legit. The only one that's walked away when they tried to buy me out. Well, Ralph kind of walked away, but like Ralph already got money and he's not a diamond hander. He ain't part of the movement. So he a different kind of guy. He a real guy, but he ain't this. He ain't this. All right? But YouTube has been overtaken, okay? If you guys don't think that, if you guys don't think that there are people pushing stocks right now to draw this out that are making more money on it dragging out than the price going up. And like if the price went up, they wouldn't make as much as it would if it just drags out. If you guys don't think that's happening right now, then you haven't been watching. After watching the AMAs and then these government things, we're literally just regurgitating the same information for the last 3 months, pretending like it's new information, pretending like every time we hear the same thing we already heard, that it's finally groundbreaking, that the shorts are finally going to cover, that something different is finally going to happen. We aren't being played, Money Mike. Money Mike, we aren't being played because the diamond-handed movement is real, the trampoline bounce is real. And so we're being played by being told to wait and being told that we can't do nothing about it. But there are at least 2 things that we can do about this. You guys can sign the motherfucking things to recall the stocks. If we get the recall on the stocks, we win. Game over. No questions asked. We win. The short, so guys, what it's going to do is it's going to force all the fake synthetics to be exposed. And they're going to have to cover the people that are shorting the actual stock. But the options are short interest that they can't cover. The option short interest will still exist. And so as the price starts to spike, the people that are in the options betting against us, that are shorting the stock on the options, those people are the ones that are going to cover and keep driving the price up after the initial recall squeeze. The recall squeeze forces the current people shorting the stock naturally to cover. It eliminates the short's ability to short the stock. So automatically our price goes to its natural price. Then after that, any losses from the people that have that were in the options are going to have to cover and or close their position. Either way, either the price goes up or stays the same. So, there's only a handful of things you can do to make the squeeze happen. You can sign the petition. You can make money on the swings for the next 6 months. Because it might take 6 months till enough people are making enough money that they say, fuck, we can't keep doing this. It's already been 4 months, people. I didn't think it could have lasted more than 30 days when I got into this shit. I didn't think it could last more than 30 days. I was wrong about that, that's for sure. Guys, the diamond hand movement is real. The people bought in and they did not sell. There is a bottom price that we never fall below, and every time we touch that fucking price, we skyrocket the next day, and they can't hold it back. Like they've shown they can slow it down, but they can't stop it. And so now I've shown you how to make your money every motherfucking time. What are you guys waiting for? It has not been too long for a squeeze, Money Mike. That is such a bad attitude and such a wrong attitude. It has not been too long for a squeeze. That's not how the math works. That's not how the math works. Oh, man. Alright, guys. You guys ready to see the FUD? You guys ready to see how bad this FUD is right now? Holy shit. Do I get hate on Reddit? You guys all need to go post this shit on Reddit and see if it's just me or see if it's fucking see if it's like GME and all this other shit. r/GME was over 30 likes and it's dropped below 15, gone over 20, back down to 19. Like this shit is controversial right here, okay? Controversial. This guy says, sign, that dude is a cuck, but yes, the strategy is effective. So basically talking shit on me. So I called him a bitch. This person says, disagree. I think we should wait for Papa Goheen tell us. Cohen has never told us anything about investing in GameStop. What a gay-ass statement. Hold on. We're going to keep reading all these. You guys got to see this. These are shills. These are hedgies, people, pretending that I'm the hedgie. They're attacking me like my idea is a hedgy idea. If you guys don't see that you're living in a fucking matrix, you're crazy. So we get a bunch of people saying signed, okay, disagree, okay. Where the fuck are all my comments at? Where are my comments? I want all. Alright. Disagree. I think we should wait for Papa Coheen to tell us. He stepped up to the plate 10 times and cranked all 10 out of the park. Edit. Just realized this is a GME, not Super Stonk. No wonder so much vitriol. I hope all the people who disagree with me have a great day and find success in life. Ape no fight ape. Also remember, anything you are urged to do outside of buy and hodl is likely FUD. Fucking little small-brained retards. Billy Starbucks says, disagree. Oh, no, that's the same guy. Then he goes, oopsie, just signed to somebody. Then that person says, is that supposed to be like a gotcha or a fuck you? You do what... Oh, man, why is fucking this thing acting up so bad? You do... Dude, you guys need to calm the fuck down in there. You do what you think is best, man. I'm presenting my own opinion as to what I think is best. You can't rub any in my face because I don't know who you are or care what you do. Then why the fuck are you on here, bitch? Look at this shit. Bobby M8 says, hey guys, remember RKT Shilling? Well, now they're owned by Rock Holdings. Who does Rock Holdings give money to? The fuck is it? Okay, now I'm lost. Oh, I clicked on... Alright, hold on. We're going to get there, people. Because this shit was retarded. You go through all these comments, and it's ridiculous what these people were saying. Alright, let's try this again. What the fuck? How do I just... Okay. There we go. Alright. Look, this is this kind of shit that I'm talking about. Larry Longnipple says signed, edit, holy downvote, man. The fuck? Negative 15 downvotes for signing my fucking petition. The fuck is that about, people? Positive Substance says just signed, negative 13 downvotes. Oops, he just signed, negative 10 downvotes. Even the guy that signed but made fun of me got negative 15 downvotes. Even I had to downvote him. I gave him an award though, so it counts. Like, I still gave him some props where it was deserved. Bro, please just stop. I turned the fucking notifications off already. Fuck you. Guys, Reddit is fucking r/GME, r/Superstonk didn't even let it get that hate. r/Superstonk just deleted the message. Said no petitions on our thing. You're not allowed to have petitions on our thing, they said. The shills are everywhere. Everywhere. The Matrix is so real. Everybody is controlling you. It's all controlled opposition. The people that you're doing the DD on r/Superstonk are controlled opposition. I promise you, they're all controlled opposition. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, people. What are you buying options on, Anonymous? AMC still got another week of red before it's going to pop, most likely. That's how I'm feeling about it. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. GME could have a little pop. GME never had its last pop, really. That was the, like, AMC actually got to $12 on its trampoline bounce from 830, which is a huge fucking bounce. That's 40% bounce. But GME never really touched its bounce. So I can see GME popping a little bit. I definitely wouldn't bet on no $800 strike, though. Not today. Not when everyone's telling you that it's game over and we won. Because we know when everyone says it's game over and we won, it's not game over and we did not win. We might have a little pop tomorrow, but it will not be the win, I promise. 5/13 means absolutely nothing to me. Is it Friday the 13th or what? Thursday the 13th. DFV predicted the squeeze by May 13th. How long ago did he predict that? I like 175 anonymous. 175 sounds like a good number. Edgar Vallejo says, I love you, Godpill. Thank you. Love you too. Jamie Ortiz says, Adam Aaron announced an official share count for June 2nd. Is that different than what you're trying to do? Yes, Jamie Ortiz. Yes, it is. It is not a recall. The counting of the shares is just going to tell us supposedly how many are synthetic or not synthetic. But the problem is they're counting the same shares that we're counting. And the reason you can't count them is because if you listen to that one doctor lady who did the AMA a week ago, she said that they're not recording which ones are synthetic or not. And that you can't tell which ones are synthetic unless you recall the stock. Recalling the stock is the only way to force the shorts to cover. Gary Taylor Jr. says, what do you mean by the thumbnail? I mean every YouTuber you know, every DD researcher you know on Reddit, every person you have met or have learned from on GME or AMC is controlled opposition. They wanted you guys to know what you know. Since the end of February, they have accepted that they are in this battle for the long run, and they want to bleed everybody dry for as long as they fucking can. And that they would not let this squeeze happen until they are fully covered. And we will know when they are covered because the price will be going up because they are covering. Or the option open interest will be skyrocketing. One of those two things are going to be happening because that's the only way that we know that they've given up. And they aren't going to give up when they're making boatloads of money. And for too long, we have been giving away just boatloads of money with no chance of winning. Even though, like, when I gave away all my money, I missed it by a fucking day to at least break even. So, like, I had a chance of winning. But, even I fucked up. And now, we need to make amends. We need to do it right. We need to win money no matter what, every single time. And the only way the squeeze is going to happen is if we show them that we will win money all the way until they give us the squeeze. Like, we are going to make them beg us to give us the squeeze because they don't want to. Like, they're tired of us scalping 50% every month. That's what's got to happen. That's what's got to happen. Alright, guys. One last time. Sign the petition. The links to the petitions are in the descriptions of the chat. I'm going to read a little story to tell you why. Here's a little bedtime story. In November 2015, Farmer Bro Martin Shkreli orchestrated a violent short squeeze on a failed biotech, Kalo Bios, that caused its share price to rise by a staggering 10,000% in just 5 trading days. KBIO has been perceived by short sellers as a no-brainer near-term zero. KBIO's only real drug had just failed and the company had insufficient cash to pay over $6 million in debt. Yet, the fact that KBIO was entirely defunct and insolvent did nothing to slow the meteoric rise of its share price, and that is the entire point. No matter how abysmal a company's financial condition may be, when the number of shares shorted exceeds the tradable float, even the most utterly worthless stocks can spike much higher. When such squeezes take hold, fundamentals can cease for a matter of time. The share price simply becomes a short-term math problem. Martin Shkreli, often referred to as the most hated man in America, is generally more famous for his 2015 raise in price of AIDS drugs. In March 2018, he was sentenced 7 years in jail, nothing to do with the KBIO squeeze. The infamous Shkreli has never faced significant formal consequences. In fact, when looking at numerous instances of orchestrated infinity squeezes over the past 10 years, it is notable that so far no one has faced consequences for doing so. Lesson number 1, fundamentals do not matter, period. In early November of 2015, KBIO was utterly defunct, failed biotech. KBIO a single feasible drug in clinical trials at time and had no revenues. When the drug failed, KBIO was left with insufficient cash to pay nearly $7 million in debt. KBIO quickly slashed headcount by 61% and then publicly announced the earlier hopes of pursuing strategic alternatives would not be viable. Notified by NASDAQ that they'd be delisted for not filing a 10Q for the September quarter. So to be clear, KBIO's problems were catastrophic and unfixable. The stock was rightfully regarded by short sellers as a no-brainer, near-term, short to zero with no realistic possibility of recovery. KBIO suddenly resurrected. Shares of KBIO had bottomed at 44 cents on November 16, 2015, but then quickly spiked back to over $2 on November 18th. Most observers attributed this rise to some simple but unexplained short squeeze. After the close of markets on November 18th, just one day after KBIO received its delisting notice, KBIO announced that an investor group led by Martin Shkreli himself had just acquired more than 50% of KBIO shares, so that this is why the price had spiked from 44 cents. When the market opened the next day, KBIO skyrocketed from $2 to over $14 on staggering volume as terrified shorts scrambled for exits. After the close on November 19th, KBIO released a second announcement stating that the group had now acquired a full 70% of outstanding shares and that Shkreli had been appointed to KBIO's new CEO chairman. Shkreli Group had stated that it would inject an initial $3 million in cash with an additional $10 million following super shareholder approval. By November 23rd, KBIO had briefly hit $45 per share, but then even then, Shkreli was not finished with his plan yet. Phase 2, forced borrow recall. After briefly hitting 45, they dropped back down to 20. After all, it's still a defunct biotech stock. Even with a bit of cash from Shkreli, the stock was worth nowhere near a $200 million market cap. Shorts piled in to short more in the 20s on the basis that this was just a squeeze that would quickly fall apart. As KBIO's share price had been spiking, short interest has been growing. Shkreli now owns 70% of outstanding shares. Then on Thanksgiving Day 2015, when markets were closed, Shkreli tweeted that he had decided to recall his KBIO shares that had been lent out to short sellers. The resulting squeeze was just a simple math problem. When Shkreli recalled his shares, brokers would be forced to buy in the short sellers, causing it to spike uncontrollably. I spoke with my counsel and advisors and decided to stop lending my KBIO shares out until I better understand the advantages of doing so. I apologize for any inconvenience this may create in the lending markets, and I will probably resume lending at some point. Happy Thanksgiving. When the markets reopened on Black Friday, the shortened session, shares of KBI continued to squeeze higher, reminding some investors of the Volkswagen Porsche Infiniti squeeze of 2008. Shares surged 31% as shorts trampled over one another to close their positions. Stocks again surged back to as high as $45 and remained elevated for weeks thereafter. Holy moly, that's all I got for you people. That's all I got for you people. Rick says, boss, are you training to box Trey? The dude's got too many medical problems to ever get in a ring. He's never getting in a ring, people, with me or anybody else. If he did, I would knock him out. No. I'm trying to freaking knock out Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor. I want the smoke. I want the baddest people on the planet. I know that sounds like a joke to you guys, but ain't nothing I say a joke. Enjoy your sweet, sweet dreams, people. Enjoy your sweet, sweet dreams.